Welcome to Main Street Living. I'm Cheryl Nelson.
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr, and we're missing Danielle. She's
We
going through some,
are. I know.
what's it, technical issues that she said she was having. So
Yeah, I feel like that happens, to all of us every now and then, but we certainly miss Danielle. But Q, you and I are still going to have some fun, right?
let's do it. Let's do it. First, let's talk about this background, Cheryl. Are you outside the house now, or are you in the house?
You like that? I'm not going to say. I'm not
I
going
didn't
to
say I
say.
like it. I just asked a question. Are
Really?
you
You don't like it? I think it's very Main Street, right?
you got me. Yes, yes, I like it.
Yeah, all right, good, good. Well, you gotta come over then and take a look once COVID settles down and you can see what it is.
Yeah, well, I know what's not settling down is the fact that this year is continuing to move on, and we're already in November, where people are getting ready for the holidays. I know it's Men's Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, are you gonna grow the beard?
No, no, because it itches a lot. So I mean, I've done that in the past, but it's cool.
It itches you. You don't like
Yeah,
it?
no, but I mean, I like it, but it just itches too much.
That's
So
so funny. I mean, I know I don't like it when my husband has too much scruff because it's just, it's,
yeah,
does your
yeah.
wife like that or no?
I mean, she hasn't really said, but she will say if it is too long, she'll be like, you can cut it just a little bit. But yes,
Oh,
yeah,
that's the hint, Quincy. And what else I want to say to you is Happy Veterans Day. I know that's going on too.
yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and to your husband as well too. We served our country, and and in most cases, we get treated like family and like royalty.
Mwah. Absolutely, Quincy. And we've got a great show coming up for you today. All kinds of fun. If you watch Hulu, we're going to talk about some great shows on there. Right, Q?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I can't wait to get going. I
All
can't wait to
right.
get going.
All right. Well, first up, though, coming up next, we're going to talk with a group who never sits on the sidelines. Find out what that means coming up.
Hey, welcome back to Main Street Living. Cheryl, last week you talked with a colleague of yours regarding the crazy weather that 2020 has presented and affected many coastal areas, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. This hurricane season has been historic as well, Quincy. And our next guest has been through a lot of weather events lately, including multiple hurricanes. Avery Davidson, the communications director from the Louisiana Farm Bureau, joins us now. Welcome to Main Street Living. Good to see you, Avery.
Cheryl, it's good to finally be here because it's like every time I was scheduled to be on, that's when we had a hurricane or tropical system threatening Louisiana.
I know, I really feel for you because it has been one after another in Louisiana. And, despite COVID-19, the Louisiana Farm Bureau is on the ground assisting people. So tell us about the response that dates all the way back to Hurricane Laura.
Yeah, starting with Hurricane Laura, within 48 hours, we had Louisiana Farm Bureau insurance adjusters on the ground working with our folks. I mean, the slogan of the company is real service, real people, and we take that to heart. And so our folks live in these communities. They live in the Lake Charles area. They live in Cameron Parish. They live in Beauregard Parish. These are the three parishes that were hit hardest by Hurricane Laura, just to have about 6 weeks later Hurricane Delta come in and wreak havoc, making landfall only 13 miles to the east of where Hurricane Laura did. And then we just got hit on the other side of the state with Hurricane Zeta. And what I think really sets Louisiana Farm Bureau insurance apart is that we were able to get our folks out there so quickly, and within 30 days of Hurricane Laura making landfall, we were at the point where we had 90% of our claims closed, which means money in
Wow.
people's hands, money that they've got to be able to rebuild. And because it's enough stress to have a hurricane barrel down and come and take out your home. You don't need to worry about whether you're going to have to fight with your insurance company to get that paid for. We make sure that our customers, our members, are taken care of as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's really fast. I mean, a lot of times people are waiting months, if not longer, to get those claims closed. So that's pretty amazing there. And I know you guys are also out in the community, you said. And what types of outreach do you do in your communities?
So, perfect example is following the hurricanes. a bunch of our agents volunteered their time, volunteered their resources, and went out and cooked hamburgers for anyone in the community to come and get. We did that in Calcasieu Parish, which is where Lake Charles is. We did that in Beauregard Parish, which is where DeRidder is. And those areas were very hard hit by Hurricanes Laura and Delta. So we go out there and we take care of our communities as best we can. When the COVID-19 pandemic first started and food banks were under a lot of stress, you may remember that we made a sizable donation to food banks across Louisiana, going so far as to present the check at the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, and almost anyone who was working with the organization brought their own money as well. So it's we know that we're helping our neighbors when we do something like that, and that's what sets Louisiana Farm Bureau apart. That's what sets almost any Farm Bureau insurance company across the country apart from what you're going to get from what the national folks. You're going to have real people there who live in your community taking care of you. It's the people you see at the church, at the baseball games, and at the football games as well.
Yes, that was my next point. I know you guys are really active in your high school football there, so talk to us about that a little bit.
Well, we've been a proud supporter of Cox Yearview Game of the Week, game time, since the inception here in Louisiana. So, we believe that you want to be a part of a winning team, and teamwork and this camaraderie that you see in communities around their high school football games. Our folks are already there anyway, so why not just sponsor it? And that's exactly what we do. We're involved with LSU football as well, Louisiana Tech football. We like to see young people succeed, and sports really helps bring that out and helps them with their academics as well in some cases.
That says a lot about a company when you're truly invested in your community and you get out and sponsor and you support them. How can people learn more and get involved with you?
Well, every parish in Louisiana has a Louisiana Farm Bureau office, so you can go to lafarmbureau.com. Go there and you can find the phone numbers for your local office. If you're already a Louisiana Farm Bureau member, you probably have your agent's number programmed in your cell phone, because that's the kind of relationships our agents and even our adjusters have with some folks. There was one adjuster I went out with, and it was like, "Oh, David, hey, how's it going?" He knew the guy. Well, the sad thing is he knew him from a previous hurricane. So, but that's the kind of relationships that we build. Our people stay here for very long periods of time, 30, 40 years.
Absolutely. And that's so good. I can actually see that. I feel the connection. I want to be your friend. And we are about out of time, Avery, but I can't thank you enough for joining us today. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully all the other hurricanes stay away from Louisiana and where you are.
Yeah, Cheryl, thank you very much. Use your meteorology powers to keep Ada away from Louisiana.
Yep, I'll do what I can. Thanks so much. All right, Quincy.
Yeah, real service, real people. And when we come back, the theater is reopening and needs your support. So stay right there. We're just getting started right here on Main Street Living.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Quincy, although the pandemic is still with us, many companies are now finding creative ways to make ends meet.
Yeah, Cheryl, they certainly are. And I know you've probably heard this one. When life hands you lemons, you make T-shirts.
Oh, that's a new one.
No, not quite. But our next guest is talking about her group's pivot, which includes T-shirts. And joining us today is GM of the State Theater, Lauren Wayne. Welcome to the show, Miss Wayne.
Thanks so much for having me. Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Hey, I am just enjoying life. That's all we have, especially with very little entertainment. And your venue hosts many genres of entertainment, from bands to cabaret shows. But you unfortunately had to close back in March. So tell us a little bit about the State Theater before the pandemic.
So our group actually owns and operates a State Theater here in Portland, Maine. We owned and operated a smaller room down the street, Port City Music Hall, but had to close that permanently due to the pandemic. And we also operate Thompson's Point Summer Series outdoor concerts. Before the pandemic, we've had a pretty robust schedule. We were doing over 250 shows a year. And for a market, as small as Portland especially, it's a lot. But it was a lot of fun. But like you said, we were one of the first businesses to close in Portland back in March, and that was on, I think, March 12th.
Yeah, just so unfortunate for a lot of businesses across the nation. Now, what do you estimate the revenue loss was?
Between the three venues, and they ranged from 580 cap all the way up to 6,000 cap at our outdoor amphitheater. We're looking at a significant loss for us. It's about 10 to 12 million at this point. That's probably just going to get larger the more we move into 2021. Right now, we're looking like we will be shut well into that year.
Wow. And here I am trying to play the lottery just to at least hit for a couple of million.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We're playing it more now too.
Wow. Now, you told our producer that you were the first in the industry to close, and you believe that you'll be the last to fully open back up online. So, how is the theater and the group going to survive this during these times?
So we work closely with the National Independent Venue Association, NIVA for short, and there's a group about 2,000 independent venues in that group. And we've always said from the very beginning, we are the first to close and we will be the last to open. And it's certainly ringing true. Right now, our company in particular is in a pretty good position only because one of our parent companies actually owns the theater in which we operate. It wasn't true for Port City, our smaller club. We did not own that, and we had to shut that down. But right now, we're just kind of coming up with creative ways to kind of create content, stay on everybody's radar, make sure that our fans know that we're still here, and that when 2021 comes around, we'll be doing shows again. We've done everything from live streaming. We've created a new merch store. We had our actually 10-year anniversary during the pandemic in October. So we created a 10-year anniversary print, which listed every single headliner that's ever played the State Theater, and it's a pretty impressive list. So we're just kind of doing whatever we can do.
Yeah, and going back to you mentioning about streaming shows from the venue, we later will be talking to a person that's streaming like on Hulu, but how does that work there at the venue?
So it's probably a little bit different. We're not doing it to generate any revenue for our particular venue. It's really just to generate revenue for the artists and the local musicians who we're doing it for. It's free. We don't charge for it. It's not a ticketed stream, but we do accept donations. Those donations go directly to the musicians who are playing on our stream, and we originated off of Vimeo, and then we can broadcast it across all our platforms. Facebook is our biggest platform, so that's the one that usually people go to the most.
Yeah, I would definitely think so. Only the young people know about TikTok, and
yeah, exactly. I don't even know we have a TikTok account. I'll ask my guy, my much younger social media coordinator.
Yeah, you were talking about donations briefly. Can you tell us about your T-shirt merchandise to help as well?
So that's what we're doing. We've created a merch store that has T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, water bottles. We're selling our prints, our 10-year anniversary prints. But it's really what if you live in a town with a music venue, all we're asking for people to do is reflect on why live music is important to you and why it's so important to have these venues in your town. And the easiest way to help, us, but in particular in your own hometown, is to go to your favorite venue's website. Buy merch, buy a gift certificate to a future show. If you have tickets to a concert that has been rescheduled or postponed, the easiest thing you can do is to hold on to the tickets and not ask for a refund, because that's basically why all these venues are still in business.
Yes,
is the ticketing.
Yes, and we certainly appreciate what you all are doing to keep folks entertained. Definitely look forward to seeing how you guys continue to move in 2021, as well as improving. So we certainly appreciate you, Lauren, for stopping by the show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, you take care. Yeah, show was pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. And you know what else is? Christmas is going to be here before you know it, Quincy. And coming up next, we are heading out to a Christmas tree farm to help you find that perfect tree. Stay with us. I love Christmas, and one of my favorite things to do is find that perfect Christmas tree and then do everything I can to make sure it lasts through the holidays. So right now, join us as we head out to Shady Pond Christmas Tree Farm in Louisiana.
Shady Pond Tree Farm is actually a childhood dream that began the moment that we arrived at Shady Pond when I was 11 in 1955. And it came into being because we were unable to locate Christmas trees in the local area. So I cut down a 30-foot pine tree and cut the top out of it, and that became our Christmas tree. It was the ugliest tree you ever saw. The process of selecting trees at Shady Pond Tree Farm has become a bit complicated this season because of COVID-19. But under normal circumstances, the rule is to walk out and ride back. You walk out looking for trees. Once you select and cut the tree is loaded on one of the big wagons, and typically the customers will sit on the wagon and ride with their tree back to the checkout area. The time to come to Shady Pond Tree Farm is about 10 days before Thanksgiving. That's when we begin pre-tagging. Pre-tagging is a process where the customers come through, select and pay for their tree, and then come back later and pick it up. We track their trees with serial numbers on the tags. Then on the Friday after Thanksgiving, we begin cutting as you normally would. Once you've selected your tree and gotten it home, the most important thing is to get it in water immediately. It should not be out of water for over about an hour to an hour and a half. If you exceed that time, cut a very thin slice off the trunk of the tree to expose the cambium layer of the tree. The cambium layer is the vascular system of the tree, and it's the point at which it absorbs water. If you ever allow the tree to be without water, where the water level drops below the end of the trunk will seal over with crusty sap. And once that occurs, the tree is dead. We hear customers say that they put additives in the water, like some people put Sprite, other people put Scotch, but it doesn't work. The water that you want is pure water. In truth, I have a concern about water that is intensely chlorinated. I don't think that's good for the trees. You can locate Shady Pond Tree Farm by going to the shadypondtreefarm.net website. Look for the link on the opening page to contact Shady Pond Tree Farm. There you will find telephone numbers, physical addresses, and a map. Many people GPS their trip to Shady Pond Tree Farm. But the caution is, when you get in the vicinity of the farm, there's a large sign at the entrance to the tree farm that tells you you're here. Shady Pond has the honor of having customers from large distances. In the early years, we had one customer who was a truck driver, and he would stop, bring his 18-wheeler, get his tree, tie it behind the cab of the truck where the sleeper is, and drive from here to Virginia. But in more recent times and in more practical terms, Shady Pond's customers come from as far away as Lafayette to the west and as far away as Biloxi to the east.
Coming up next on Main Street Living, changing lives one suitcase at a time. Stay with us. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Quincy, did you know that in any given day, there are over 400,000 children in foster care in the United States?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that statistic, but I am fully aware as my wife works for a nonprofit that deals with a lot of foster parents. But I do also know this: most of those kids are removed from their home with very little than the clothes on their backs, and in most times,
Oh.
a trash bag in which to carry them. So, joining us today to talk a little bit about this is Rob Shear, who's working to change how a child is transitioned to and from foster care. So. Welcome to the show, Rob. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. You know, any opportunity I get to talk about children in our foster care system is an amazing opportunity. So thank you.
No
Absolutely.
problem. Rob, you are the founder of Comfort Cases there. Can you tell us how this cause is personal to you?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. I actually started in the system when I was 12 years old, carrying a trash bag up the very first home. I couldn't believe it. My whole life had changed. And then I turned 18. When I turned 18 back in the 80s, kids aged out of the system. No matter where you were in life, you were done. And I was done as a senior in high school and became homeless carrying my trash bag. I never thought that my life was ever going to be amount to anything. But instead, I graduated from high school, I joined the military, and I became this very successful businessman. I never looked back and thought about that trash bag until 12 years ago when four of the most amazing humans walked into my life. My four children, my daughter Amaya, her brother Makai, my son Grayson, and his brother Tristan. And all four of them carried a trash bag. How could we do this? How could we be a country that gives so much and we allow children who come into a system because of choices other people made carrying a trash bag? I just couldn't allow that to happen on my watch any longer.
Oh my gosh. It's so inspiring just listening to you talk. And so explain what you did from there, because I know you have these bags now and what's included in them.
So I will tell you, my journey was never going to be running a nonprofit. I am a banker by trade, and I just wanted to teach my children who are privileged that we need to be a part of a community that makes an impact. And how we were going to do that is we were going to eliminate trash bags. We were going to get every child a brand new case, that it would have a brand new pair of pajamas with a tag on it, that every child got their own lotion, their own shampoo, their own conditioner, and their own bar of soap. We wanted to make sure that every child got their own toothbrush and toothpaste. We also give every child an activity. See, over 90% of kids who enter the system enter in the back of a police cruiser. They go to what we call holding centers with nothing to do. So kids under the age of 10 get a coloring book and crayons, and kids over the age of 10 get a journal and a pen and pencil set. As an author, I wrote my book for two reasons. Number one, I want you to love it in your mind. Number two, I want you to love it in your heart. But the most flattering thing you could ever do for a book is pass it on. So every single child gets a book. And then we give every kid a stuffy. I don't care if you're a newborn up to the age of 19. Everybody loves a good stuffed animal.
Oh,
The last thing we do is we give a blanket. See, my son Grayson was 6 years old when we started this organization. 6 years old. He said, "Daddy, we must give everybody a blankie." I said, "A blankie?" I said, "You know these kids are not cold, Grayson." He said, "No, Daddy. Every time they wrap themselves up in their blankie, they know we love them."
yep,
See,
it's so true. I have my blankie right here.
at the end of the day, that's what we all want. We want to be loved. We want to know that we're not disposable. And these kids deserve that. So what ended up to being one case ended up to being five cases. Now we have delivered over 120,000 cases all over the country in all 50 states, DC and Puerto Rico. And by the way, if it wasn't for our amazing friends at Integrity Staffing who has supported us along this journey, it couldn't have happened. But we've done it. And let me tell you the reason why. Community. Our forefathers built communities for one reason, my friends. And it wasn't for us to live in a big house. It was for us to take care of each other. That's why.
Wow. How can you get people involved with comfort cases? Because I know, like with foundations and organizations, you got to jump through so many hoops, and then you still got to get the support. So tell us how you do that.
Well, first of all, everybody can be a part of the change. Visit comfortcases.org. You'd be surprised what you can do. Each and every one of us have an opportunity to be doers, because that's what we are. So go to comfortcases.org. Let me tell you one quick thing that we do as Americans. For some reason, we go to hotels and we save all the lotion, shampoo, and conditioners from the hotel. We take them home and we put it in a drawer. Open up that drawer and send those to us. because we could use those. The next time you want to go to that overpriced coffee shop, go to Target, buy a pair of pajamas with a tag on it and send it to us. There's so much you can do. And by the way, time is valuable. So volunteer, go to group homes and read to these kids. Be there for them because they are our future.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, hearing your voice is very inspiring, Robin. We certainly appreciate what you're doing for the community
Absolutely.
overall. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.
Me too.
All right. You do the same. So inspiring to hear his voice. And after the break, we're going to get the inside scoop, transition a little bit to a popular show on Hulu. So you don't want to miss this. We'll be right back. Back to Main Street Living, Cheryl. I have to tell you this, and I may have said it before, but I've binge watched so many TV shows on all these streaming platforms, but not yet anything on Hulu. And I'm pretty excited about this next one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Quincy, wait till you hear this. 12 Monkeys, Siren, the From Dusk Till Dawn series, and Hellstrom are just a few of the projects that Matt Morgan has been involved with over the years. He's a writer, producer, cinematographer, and he's joining us now to talk about one of his favorites, Hellstrom. So exciting, Matt. Welcome to Main Street Living. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So you have quite a list of credits there as I was reading through them. And I know writers typically don't like to reveal their favorites, but is there a project that really stands out to you?
I gotta say, it's probably because it was the first TV staffing job I had was From Dusk Till Dawn. And the reason that one stands out the most, obviously because it was first, but beyond that, it was kind of being thrown into the fire a little bit. And it was a show that, it was created by Robert Rodriguez, adapted from the movie he made. And, it kind of struck checked all the right boxes for me. It was a horror show. It was a cool crime noir show. And, I got to supervise my episodes that, I wrote with my writing partner. And it was just insane. Robert Rodriguez's world is full of awesome, these great actors and tons of gore. And I felt like I was doing all the stuff I dreamed about as a kid and, lots of fake blood and vampires. And it was just a blast. So that left an impression. And, from there, it got crazier. So.
Yeah, Matt, and speaking of crazier, from what I understand, those who haven't checked out Hellstrom on Hulu, they're missing out. So do us a favor and set up this storyline for us.
Well, I agree. So please check it out. So Hellstrom was adapted from a kind of a lesser known Marvel property that dates back to the early 1970s and kind of came and went over the years. And it was a character named the Son of Satan. So take that for what it is. And basically, we tried to adapt it into a kind of a more grounded, real world series. It's about this brother and sister who are basically estranged. They both grew up in a very troubled household. Their father was a mysterious serial killer, and their mother ended up institutionalized for a long period of time. So, as you'll see in the pilot, the brother and sister are kind of drawn back together because some familiar things from the past are coming back up, and both of them basically spend their lives kind of hunting down kind of the worst of society, and either exercising demons and
Matt, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep tonight.
I know all that stuff is so scary. I mean, what goes into outlining that type of storyline? How do you even come up with that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the comic was a starting point, of course, but after that, we really just tried to do our own thing. Our showrunner, Paul Spashevsky, was fantastic, and he kind of laid out the kind of arc of the season, how he saw it. And, we basically assembled a room of writers together and kind of went through each episode and broke each story. And it was just kind of tracking the journey of these siblings and kind of their found family and how they reconcile their past, their really troubled childhood and their trauma with what they're dealing with now. And, the fine line between whether you're a hero or a villain, and exploring that, how that went into play. So.
Okay. Well, are you able to share with us some of the upcoming projects that you have going on and what you actually have in the works, Matt?
Yeah, there's a couple things right now. Obviously, always on the hunt for the next TV staffing job, of course. But developing a couple feature projects and a TV series, hopefully, with Berlanti Productions at Warner Brothers and the CW. That's called Thawed. So that explores the world of cryogenics, and it's kind of like a 6 Feet Under, except instead of the funeral industry, it's dealing with the future industry of putting people in cryostasis and then thawing them back out. So
do you think that's possible? Do you really believe in that it could work?
Well, it's funny. They're successfully preserving people right now. Yeah. It's been going on for a long time. We haven't quite figured out the resurrection part yet, but we're getting close. So we're just taking that extra leap for the show.
And we certainly, we certainly do appreciate you stopping by the show. Down below is where people can get in contact with you. And if you allow me to be in the movie and run, then I would love to have that role.
Noted. Got it.
Me too. Yeah. Pencil me in as well. Yeah, we'd love to be extras in there.
No problem. Look, we always need vampires, zombies, everything. So
Ooh, I can do any of that.
Yeah. I'm there. Thank you again, Matt.
All right, Q, there we go. We got some lines in a movie.
Great. Well, up next, we're going to visit Oklahoma's Contemporary Art Center. Speaking of more arts, that should be fun. I'm scared.
Mm-hmm. Quincy, stay with us, guys. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Quincy, this time of the year can be pretty stressful for many of us with the holidays approaching, but it could be a good time to take a time out and maybe go to a nice, relaxing museum.
I see what you're trying to do, Cheryl, and maybe I'll go relax, okay? But the Oklahoma City Contemporary Museum, they recently opened this facility. It's beautiful and has already made a name for itself. In fact, we caught up with the architect, Rand Elliott, to learn a little bit more about the building's unique design. Check this out.
The building is called Folding Light because it's the result of how the skin is designed and clad on the exterior of the building. We were looking for a way to make this notion of capturing the light truly real. And the way we did that was to not have a smooth surface that would be mirror-like. We really wanted it to be not a reflective surface, but a surface that would capture and hold the light. We wanted the building to be maybe the first thing that you would see, and we wanted to be able to make sure that the location of the building as it relates to those people that are driving by was important. The lantern is created to symbolize not only the energy of the arts, but to give you a hint that you're close to the front, if you will. And so that is why it is truly there. And then that leads you to move around the building. And as you move around the building, the canopy is the next element that you see. And that begins to tell you, oh, that could be the entrance. And so those kinds of things are clues that you use as an architect in order to give the building and its sense of orientation meaning. The construction of this building had some complexities to it because there are virtually no 90-degree corners in it. It's really about this folding quality of the exterior skin that makes it unique and interesting. And so the construction of it was dynamic and dramatic and wonderful because there were some challenges that ended up being very positive things along the way from the constructability point of view. Fabulous contractors, fabulous construction people, men and women, really working to put a great sensibility and spirit into the building, and they did that. One of the most interesting things that has happened, I've begun coming to the job site at 6 o'clock in the morning at sunrise in an effort to try to get the color of light on the building. It's been a wonderful experience. It's gotten me up on Saturdays and Sundays very early, which is fun. One of the things I began to discover was that on all of the buildings that have windows around this building, they begin to reflect what's going on here. And so I'm seeing refractions going on to the north. I'm seeing orange reflections on the buildings to the east when the sun is coming up. It is energizing and affecting everything around it, which I think is such an important part. That's what the arts do. They affect those things around them. They make things generally better. They make you aware of circumstances and that kind of thing. And I sense that and I see that. I hope that the message that comes from people coming to the building or touring the building or seeing an exhibit or something like that is optimism. That life is a great thing and that the arts contribute substantially to how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our families, how we feel about where we are and the location that we are and that sort of thing. And so that optimism, that's what architecture really is a outward symbol of optimism. And I hope that those that come here are also inspired, that if they come in the morning and they see the building turning orange or pink or whatever the case might be, that they think, wow, that is so cool, that it's doing that. I'm not touching it, it's doing it on its own, and then it goes away. And then something else happens. If you follow the building and move it around, there's something happening to it all the time that you're experiencing, that you are a part of. Many of my friends and colleagues and those from Oklahoma City have commented that, why is the building the way the building is? And so I'll give them a brief understanding about what folding light means and its value, and it has caught on. And people refer to it as folding light, which is a very endearing thing to me. One of the most interesting things was that I'm often on the job site while it's under construction. And as I walked around one Saturday morning, there were boxes of parts and things like that all around. And I went around one corner and looked back, and there was a box full of plumbing parts. And the plumber had written folding light on the box. And it's just so powerful because it tells you that he got it. The plumber understood what that was all about. He was given that name. He was a part of the building of it. And he adopted that name and realized why it was what it was. That's a very powerful statement when the building connects to people like that.
Nice. Hey, Cheryl, I have to say, if I ever visited Oklahoma City, this is a must go-to place right here.
We need you to do that. Maybe we'll get you a massage there as well. Get all that tension out so you can relax.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. All right, we'll do that next time. Until then, don't go anywhere. We've got more Main Street Living after this. Welcome back to Main Street Living. Always fun to work with you, Q.
Hey, likewise. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to sleep tonight because that was some spooky stuff that we heard earlier.
I know.
Matt, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, hopefully Danielle will be back with us next week as well. So it's always fun.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, you can catch us on the go on the Cox Contour app and catch up with all of our shows.
And new episodes, don't forget, every Monday, 9 p.m. local time. So make sure you join us then as we take our next stroll down Main Street. Until then, have a wonderful day. See you next time.